and down again. Bitcoin catches a bid amidst the fog of war, but terrible jobs numbers and fears of stagflation mean the gains are quickly given back. Clarity on track. In a rare bit of good news for the crypto industry, the flagship piece of legislation has made some progress recently. Might it actually be about to happen? Jobs apocalypse. AI is everywhere and the jobs market is looking ugly. We examine whether we're all about to be made redundant by robots or whether a new golden age is dawning. And we'll have Lewis with the TA, tweets of the week, what to watch out for, and much more besides. This is the Coin Bureau News, live.
Happy Monday, welcome back. And this is the Coin Bureau News live, coming to you from Dubai because yes, we're still here, we're still safe, and we're not leaving. You know,
we are not leaving.
You know that scene from Wolf of Wall Street where it's not, when he's out there in front of the crowd, he's like, I'm not effing leaving. And that's us. So, and a big thank you to the UAE government for keeping us all protected. So
they've done a good job, haven't they?
Very good job.
Yeah, and here we are back in the studio after last week's hiatus.
Yeah. Nothing going on. It's great to be back. So yeah, mine of course is Nick. Guy, how's it going, man?
Well, yeah, I'm good, thanks. I've ridden out what might have been a fairly hairy week. It's certainly been an interesting one.
Yeah,
it's good to be. It's starting to feel a little bit back to normal, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's kind of getting full again and everything. So don't believe the headlines, guys. Dubai is doing pretty well. And we're back, of course, as usual. It's the Coin Bureau Weekly News, and we've got a lot to cover today, including what happened to Bitcoin last week, because Bitcoin, unfortunately, it had a good pump out of last week when we started on the news of the attacks. But subsequent to that, a week later, literally 5 days later, we kind of round-tripped that, unfortunately. And we'll explain why Bitcoin did rally last week in a bit. And then, of course, the one last chance saloon for crypto, a good crypto catalyst this year appears to be Clarity. And there was some headway made on that. So we'll be taking a look into that.
It's not dead quite yet.
Not just yet, yes. The things that are dying is unfortunately our jobs. And we're going to be taking a look at the jobs apocalypse.
Nice cheery note for the thing.
That we start. Is the jobs apocalypse coming because of AI? Many reports we want to dive into and take a look at what it could mean for the rest of us and our future. And of course,
or lack
of a future, exactly. Starknet coming around, so we're also taking a look, and we've got some TA, of course, not Lewis, unfortunately, this time.
Not Lewis. I've only just been informed of this as well, folks.
Yeah,
so I apologise for the false advertising there. Lewis will not be doing the TA today, but we will have someone equally adept and, dare I say, equally handsome as well.
Yeah, he's jumping into the breach there. So, as always, guys, please fire up those likes, and don't forget, if you're not subscribed yet, do so right now, and let us know your sentiment in the comments. We need a good boost in there.
Absolutely. Can I just draw people's attention to a very wise comment that Keeps Format made? Alt season will come when CB reaches 1,000 likes. That's how the markets are coded. Yeah, we don't make the rules.
Yeah, man.
It's just how it is. So, if you want alt season, pound that like button into its constituent atoms.
Yep. Cool. So, Bitcoin price last week. Let's roll back. If you'll recall, Monday, well, actually, the Iran war kicked off, or the Iran-Israel-US war kicked off over the weekend, and this led to pandemonium on Monday morning. Markets crashed and oil shot up. And then later in the day, though, Bitcoin did start catching a bit.
This was interesting, wasn't it? Suddenly, it was the counter trend rally was on.
Yeah, it was. Finally. So it was exciting to see Bitcoin rally in there.
Yeah. We also had ISM numbers coming out. This ISM is the new Meta, by the way. It's the new global liquidity, by the way. The new M2 money supply.
This is the new M2 money supply. All the ISM watchers out there were pointing out the fact that the ISM is an expansion. Therefore, as you say, altcoin season must be coded. So everyone was excited about that.
Yep, slightly above expectations. So manufacturing seems to be doing well. That takes us to Tuesday. And Tuesday we had the news that the Strait of Hormuz, which is that narrow bottleneck just out there through which 20% of the world's oil flows, is effectively closed.
Yeah, and just take a look at that on the right there. That's from the Financial Times. That shows the amount of ships passing through the straits since the conflict began, and it's minuscule. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And just to put this into context in terms of the disruption to the oil supply, this is the greatest oil supply disruption in history.
Is that right?
In history, yeah. The previous to that, there was the 1956 Suez crisis.
Right.
Suez, which was 10% of global supply, but this is 20% of global supply, and I think the Arab oil crisis and the Arab oil embargo was at about 7 to 8% of global oil supply. So it is the biggest disruption to oil markets ever.
Okay, probably nothing. All right, so there's that.
There's that.
Wednesday, ISM and ADP numbers were also looking good.
That's the services ISM, also above expectations, smashed it. And the ADP numbers were also better than expected. These are the private payrolls reports. Bitcoin kept on climbing, 72K, 73K. So it was looking good. Everyone was finally saying, finally, Bitcoin is the digital gold everyone expected. It's behaving like a risk-off asset. You know, we have been saved.
It's back.
It's
we
back.
are so back.
So back,
we are
baby.
so back. Thursday came, the good news kept coming. Jobless claims in the US were below expectations.
Yep, they were. And it looked as if everything was great on the jobs front. Roll forward to Friday, of course, and we had the NFP numbers, and they were a shocker.
Another massive revision here, which we should really be coming used to now. You know, you can never trust these jobs numbers when they initially come out. A 92K revision downwards.
And it's worth noting that this was the biggest revision since October, and the private payrolls number within this NFP data, it was the biggest. It was a revision of, I think, minus 86K, and it was the biggest since 2020.
Okay, Bitcoin was not happy about this, took it very personally, back down below 69K. Obviously, 69K kind of has that, you know, that magic number because it's sort of around the last cycle.
Exactly,
all-time high.
yeah, just near it, on it. There we go.
Big psychological level there for Bitcoiners, which takes us to the weekend.
Yep, and unfortunately, Bitcoin did keep on falling, slowly bleeding down to 66K. And then today, Monday, the open oil absolutely skyrocketed. 23% in just 10 minutes. Now, it's crazy to think that it's trading like a speculative altcoin, and it is literally the lifeblood of the global economy. 23% in 10 minutes.
That's crazy.
Just mental.
Yeah.
Mental.
Absolutely crazy. However, needless to say, oil is still very volatile, although, the case for it shooting up in price is, kind of writes itself. There is volatility out there, and it actually fell again on news that G7 finance ministers were meeting, again, reporting by the FT here, talking about releasing some of their emergency reserves.
Yeah, they are. But to be honest, Guy, only real fools fear high oil prices. This is according to Trump.
Okay.
He calls it a very small price to pay.
Right. Okay, I mean, that is kind of, in a midterm year, it underlines what a huge gamble it is, isn't it? Because Americans, I'm told, are very sensitive to so-called gas prices. So
very much so.
If it's costing them, a month's wages to fill up their, tank-sized car, that's not going to go down well with voters come the election.
It's already picking up, gas prices in the US. And stocks in Asia and Europe today started collapsing on the news, of course, of the higher oil prices. We had Asian markets getting absolutely hammered. I think the Japan's Nikkei and topics were completely crashing. The South Korean stock exchange hit its circuit breaker twice, I think.
Wow. Okay. So that's when they literally just suspend trading.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, well,
take a break, guys.
Chill out,
chill out, guys.
Down, go out.
Take a breather. Woosah. Stop selling. Please stop selling.
Just chill. God, we could do with some of that in crypto sometimes, I think.
I wish we did. Yeah. These 24/7 markets are kind of like, we just need to chill out sometimes.
Yeah, need a circuit breaker. However, whilst all of this was going on, one particular person saw this carnage, saw stock markets crashing and oil going crazy, and said, "Hold my MFing beer."
$1.28 billion worth, or a total of 17,994 Bitcoin. Saylor was bidding last week. which is good to see he's still bullish. But unfortunately, this brings me to the realization that there is only one reason why Bitcoin was pumping last week. And it wasn't everyone thinking it was the new digital gold or the a risk-off asset they were hoping it was. It was that one particular degen over there in the US was bidding.
Michael Saylor once again propping up Bitcoin all by himself.
Yep.
So big week to come, though.
Exactly. We've got CPI, we've got core PCE, we've got war in the Middle East, we've got oil meetings, which I'll talk about in a bit. And of course, in about, 20 minutes now, we've got the US markets opening, and already the futures are pointing lower. So volatility incoming.
Okay.
Quick look at the charts and the Bitcoin chart. This is the weekly chart. Now you will see that we had a solid rejection from the $72,000 to $74,000 range, which we were struggling to get above last week. And we did unfortunately last week close just below the 200-week exponential moving average. So we didn't manage to regain that trend. However, it was the first weekly close in the green for the past 7 weekly closes that were negative. So, or the past 6 were negative. So thankfully, even though it was we eked out a little bit of a gain, it was still a gain on the week, and we formed that inverted hammer candle over there. So it could be a bullish reversal. However, we still need a confirmation this week in terms of where we go. So it's going to be a make or break week, guys.
And I still need binoculars to see that green candle.
Yeah.
But hey, we'll take what we can get, right? We'll take anything.
Barely, man. Yeah, exactly. Peeked it out.
Okay, so if all of that news leaves you thirsting to go and speculate in the crypto markets, then the place you should be doing that is 2bit, right, Nick?
Exactly. 2bit's our internet top-tier international exchange, our first brand partner. They've got a solid interface, deep liquidity, and competitive fees. And onboarding is super, super simple. All you really need is an email address. So in order to sign up right now, just scan the QR code or hit the link in the description, go over to 2bit, and you can create an account just with an email. And you can see how the interface looks, see how the trading functionality works, have a play around. And then if you want to avail yourself of up to 90K in trading rewards, plus a VIP level 1 upgrade, which gives you 50% off trading fees for life, then just deposit and you'll be able to get that and trade on 2bit. So yeah, use the link in the description or scan the QR code.
Okay. All right. So let's have a look at how things are doing in the sentiment. As usual, people are holding up pretty well. I like the sophistication of our audience. They're not the sort of people to panic on bad news. You know, they've been through a lot.
I've been through.
So what have we got? Well, Pilly 1000 is still waiting for alt season. Pilly, you may have a little longer to wait, I'm afraid. But I love that. I love the attitude. Michael is sending love from California. Who doesn't like to get some love from California?
Man, that must be early for him, no?
Yeah. Or is it late for him?
No, it's early. It's probably like 5 a.m., 6 a.m., no?
Michael, what are you doing up this early watching crypto
Love
live
it.
streams? Do the people who know you and care for you know about this? Reformed Goldbug is saying, is Guy the Eggman? No, I'm the walrus.
What is it a reference to? Sorry.
That's the Beatles.
Oh, okay. My bad. Sorry.
I am the
my
walrus.
pop culture.
Pop culture, Nick.
My pop culture, my knowledge.
you wouldn't know. Well, moving on. When I hear people, Dre is saying, Dre, long-term commenter. Oh, sorry, I took that down. When I hear people say crypto is holding up well, I suspect the next leg down is on the way.
Yep, 100%. That's
It's a bit like the sort of commentator's curse. I don't know if you get this when you're watching, sport or anything, but in cricket, when you watch cricket and the commentator says, "Oh, this batsman's going well," they're usually out next ball.
oh, yeah.
So yeah, we've got to be wary of the commentator's curse, even in crypto. No, Nick is not the walrus. Yeah, it's from Magical Mystery Tour.
Oh, yeah.
There we are.
Wow, another reference I don't know, but cool. I'll take your word for it. Okay. But now, in talking about alt season, guys, the one thing we're hoping could potentially save alt season for us has been the Clarity Act that everyone has been talking about. And we really do need clarity to get past, and take it from the man himself, Mr. SBF.
What?
who has been glazing Trump the past few weeks to try and get that pardon. So much so that he even took to quote tweet pee pee poo poo.
Pee pee poo poo.
That famous crypto influencer pee pee poo poo.
I mean, that really says it all, doesn't it? Jesus Christ.
Anyone support me? There's an account that supports me. Let me go and quote tweet him.
Renowned market watcher pee pee poo poo.
You should just get another 10 years just for quote tweeting that guy.
Right. Well, thank God. Yeah, thank God he's safely in jail. Okay, so all right. I didn't really see that coming. That the first bit of commentary we'd have on the Clarity Act today would be from Sam Bankman-Fried. There we go.
He's a commentator nonetheless. Okay. Anyways, it was the March 1st deadline. If you recall that this was the deadline given by the White House to resolve this crypto legislation, and we passed through the March 1st deadline, but it seems that other events seem to have taken precedent and interest these days.
Yes, I think the 1st of March, people's attention was very much focused elsewhere. Yeah. So the 1st of March was what's called the drafting deadline for this. So it's intended to finalize the text before it goes to the Senate Banking Committee. And so the committee can move to a formal markup. So what this means is that the bill is now pushed into election season lull.
Yeah, exactly. And the primary sticking point for this, as was always, the yield component. So traditional banks have been lobbying for a total ban of stablecoin rewards. And they argue that if platforms like Coinbase offer yield investments or rewards on these stablecoins, it creates sort of like an unregulated shadow bank that will trigger mass deposit flight from their 0.1% yielding accounts. Yeah,
I think Brian Moynihan, the Bank of America guy, CEO, was saying, like something north of 6 trillion in deposits would leave banks or something like that, which sounds a little bit alarmist.
Yeah.
However, there was some movement on this last week, and from one person in particular, the crypto president actually came in on the side of the crypto firms, and he was posting on Truth Social, right?
Yeah, it is so surreal. The post just before that was talk about how he wants to, I think, be choosing the next Iranian supreme leader, and then, let me just go and post about the Clarity Act quickly. In between talking about how he's bombing the hell out of Iran, who he must select as the next supreme leader, and firing Kirsty Noem, he decided he's going to go and tweet about Clarity, but here we are.
Crazy. So it turns out that he had actually met with Brian Armstrong, the Coinbase CEO. So this could well have been what prompted him to weigh in on the side of the banks. I think Trump is sort of quite famous for sort of listening to the last person he spoke to. So presumably Brian got in there just at the right moment.
Yeah, exactly.
And thank God it wasn't a bank executive. But I guess the question is, even with Trump coming in on the side of crypto, will the very powerful banking lobby still be willing to compromise?
Well, I mean, one of these senators, French Hill, he is confident, and he said that, we will find a solution on the crypto market structure as all parties are working to pass the bill.
Okay.
So where are we now? I think the most important question is, will there be some sort of a compromise on the yield question? So negotiations have kind of narrowed it to sort of a middle ground on the stablecoin rewards. And the emerging draft is likely to ban yields on idle balances. So basically those that not doing anything with the coins or the stable coins, such to appease the concerns of the banking lobby. And allow rewards for sort of transaction-based activity. That's one of the potential solutions.
Okay, so if you're putting your stablecoin balance to work, like I guess on something like Aave or one of Coinbase's own brand lending products or something like that. So you could, that could work. That would appeal to quite a lot of DeFi degens who are already already doing that sort of stuff. I guess the appeal for your average retail investor might not be so much because, a lot of people just want to hold money and, forget about it, just earn interest, and they may not necessarily be all that interested in going and dabbling in DeFi, although maybe this will prompt that.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I guess it's but it depends how many people are actually really keen to get involved in that and how many of Coinbase's current user base actually does get involved in DeFi. We'll have to see. But The SEC isn't waiting. This is some good news from last week. They want to introduce token taxonomy that would allow firms to register, comply, and operate with clearer rules. So even if clarity doesn't get passed, the SEC is going to make sure that certain issuers can operate with some sort of rules in place.
Okay, and the good news is if you subscribe to the idea that prediction markets are right most of the time, Polymarket, I think the odds are about 70%, yes, and Kalshi 65%, that clarity will pass.
Which means you should go and try and arb those odds, guys.
Really?
I mean, well, you go short the one and long the other. Although, to be fair, I think that the Kalshi one would be for 2027. And the Polymarket one is ever. So it assumes that it could potentially happen after 2027, which I think is a very improbable. But anyways, if you guys are bullish on the odds of clarity passing and you want to trade altcoins ahead of this, then the best place to potentially do that is over on BitGet. Now, this is our second brand partner. And not only can you trade altcoins, but you can also trade tokenized assets and like stocks, commodities over on BitGet TradFi. So all you really need to do is you can, first of all, scan the QR code or hit the link in the description, create an account over at BitGet. We do also have up to 50K in deposit bonuses available. But over there, you can use your USDT and go and trade tokenized assets such as tokenized gold, silver, and other commodities and stocks with up to 500 times leverage and deep liquidity. So go and check it out, guys. Sign up on BitGet today.
Okay, great stuff. Now, Nick, I want to put a scenario into your mind. The year is 2028. The Coin Bureau weekly news live stream that by this point is known and loved by millions across the globe is preparing to go live for yet another show. But something has changed.
Indeed. The overlords have taken over, haven't they?
Yeah. No, it's no longer your two favorite crypto presenters running the show, but instead it's all being done by AI. So this is, there we are.
You know what's the funny irony about this is this image was developed by AI. An AI image about AI taking over the Coin Bureau.
It's kind of like AI just trolling us from the future.
Yeah, it's crazy. And literally the prompt was pretty straightforward. It's like, here's two images of Guy and Nic, and go and develop an image about AI taking over their job as crypto commentators.
And it produces an image.
The first image is way more graphic than this, unfortunately.
Okay.
We were buried underneath the earth.
Okay, well, I mean,
that's too graphic, guys.
I'm already going to have trouble sleeping after seeing this one, so I'm kind of glad I didn't see the earlier draft. That's probably just as well for my sleep and mental health. But yeah, as you will probably have seen, there's been a lot of talk about to the extent to which AI might take all our jobs, might replace us all. And there's been a lot of interesting think pieces on this, some quite controversial, actually. I'd like to draw your attention to a report from Anthropic. Obviously, Anthropic has been in the news a lot recently.
Yeah, exactly. So this is one where they have this, for example, they did a big study, and one of these was, quote, the observed exposure metric finds that AI's actual usage is actually a fraction of its theoretical capability. So most tasks LLMs could theoretically handle are not yet being automated in practice. So you can see there a landscape of what it looks like. And the jobs that are most at risk from this are those that software engineering, research, writing. But also they show that workers that are most at risk of older, female, more educated, and higher paid. So it's not the low-skilled workers. It's
not the low-skilled men. Well, I wonder why it's female.
Yeah, I don't know. I need to dive into the report a bit more. It's like...
Good to know that even that sexist attitudes of the past are being carried forward into the future by AI.
Right.
Thanks, that's great. All the progress we've made towards gender equality being rowed right back. Thank you, AI. That's great.
The smartest things and the smartest AGI things.
Even AGI is being colonized by the manosphere. So that's the report from Anthropic. You might also recall, we actually did a video on this recently. There was a report from Citrini Research that went viral on Substack, because again, this is the age we live in now, where something can go viral on Substack and then actually tank the market.
Yeah, it's madness, man. But the TLDR of the report is that advanced AI agents can perform many cognitive tasks, coding, analysis, research management, putting large parts of software, finance, consulting, and other knowledge worker jobs at risk.
Yeah. And this is kind of already happening. As I say, we covered this in a video, which I urge you to watch. I mean, it's one of Nick's, but you watch it anyway. It's not bad for one of Nick's.
Not bad.
It's very good, actually. But this is already happening, folks. So we're already seeing job cuts. Amazon cut a huge 16,000 employees in what is being called a strategic pivot towards increasing AI investment, removing bureaucracy, and flattening the organization for greater efficiency.
I love that corporate speak.
Yeah.
Flattening the organization.
Someone once pointed out to me that all these sort of corporate things, all these corporate expressions, for cost cutting or whatever, it basically they always mean firing people. Flattening efficiency gains. It basically comes down to giving people the sack.
Yeah.
So maybe at some point in the not too distant future, when you order some
reprioritizing, restructuring. That's always going to be restructuring.
Yeah, restructuring.
Making it sound better, actually, just getting rid of a few jobs.
Yeah. So, next time you order some useless tat from Amazon, maybe the whole process, even to delivery, will just be handled by AI.
Yeah, and another company was Block. This is Jack Dorsey's firm. They announced over 10,000 staff will leverage artificial intelligence to improve efficiency, and they've cut jobs as well.
Jack Dorsey hasn't cut his beard, though, has he?
Oh, look, his
swagger
there.
That's an impressive. That's an impressive rug. Sorry, I've gone off topic. Morgan Stanley, 2,500 layoffs in early March. Again, the bank pointing towards AI-driven efficiency.
Even the bankers on Wall Street are not safe.
Boo-hoo. How sad.
Imagine
how sad.
It's sad. Imagine spending 4 or 5 years in like Harvard or one of these Ivy League universities, racking up hundreds of thousands of dollars of student debt, thinking you're going to get a S-tier bulge bracket banking job, and then all of a sudden you have to go and do door dashing.
Man,
that's
tough out there. It's tough out there. These finance bros. So Oracle as well is also cutting.
Yeah, job cuts in many parts of the business. Oracle itself is also just splurging cash on AI data centers, but still cutting jobs because of AI. How crazy and dystopian is that? It's like we basically have hundreds of billions of dollars to invest in AI data centers, and we're also cutting jobs because of the AI that is being trained on the servers that are hosted in our data centers.
It's all kind of scary. What's the is it Larry Ellison?
Larry Ellison, yes.
Because he was briefly the richest man in the world.
Briefly, until his stock collapsed 40%. Subsequent to that.
And then he's trying to sort of buy, I think, is it Warner Brothers or something like that?
They have successfully about to buy it. Yeah, they won the bid. Yeah.
Okay. And just the scale of all this is crazy. I mean, these job layoffs are just one thing we talked about, but this was pretty terrifying as well.
Yeah, there are only 1.6 job openings per 100 employees in white-collar service roles. It's the lowest level since 2015. So you're competing for more, almost like but more than 50 like other people who are actually coming out for your job. It's crazy.
Yeah. Now, I wonder if there is a sort of positive flip side to all of this, because on the one hand, we're right at the moment, we're seeing job openings close, we're seeing job losses happen and all that sort of stuff. And people are talking about the possibility of the AI bubble bursting. So, maybe it could all flip round. Maybe if the AI bubble does burst, that could conversely be good for hiring, because a lot of these companies might might be forced to take people back on if AI doesn't quite live up to its expectations.
Well, I mean, it's a tough one because already, like a lot of the tasks that the AI technology exists to replace a lot of the tasks that many people are doing, right? So the question is future projections around how many of these tasks can be automated away. If we get to plateau and everything in the next few years and we don't see all these big gains from AI efficiency gains in the labor market, then there's still going to be these other jobs like finance jobs, like software engineering jobs, which are at risk. And then it's going to mean changing the nature of the job to instead of just being a coder, you'd be a prompt engineer. And instead of, thinking about how we leverage AI in our daily lives to do our jobs better. So that's why I think now is the best time to think about how you can leverage AI and tools to do your job more efficiently. Because if we get to that state where people are going to have to rely on AI to beat their competitors in the job market, now you need to be learning.
Yeah. Don't fight it. Work. If you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is really interesting because there is a flip side that says that lots of people are saying like, well, it's actually going to create a whole load of jobs. Some people are saying, I read an interesting piece just earlier today actually about someone saying that they can't remember the last time they were doing this much work, because they're using AI to, work through sort of several ideas. So this person, I think they were a developer or coder or whatever, they said they had a load of different projects on the go. But because AI was letting them do more, they were actually, working more, even though AI was doing the kind of grunt work. So there is a good chance that it pans out like that. But again, I think that's going to be the people who are willing to do that. If you if you let it wash over you, then you're going to be swept away. If you if you embrace it,
you need to adapt. You need to adapt.
Yeah. The comments are interesting. Brett says AI will kill everything. Chill out, Brett. Come on.
Duma.
Come on, mate. AI can make people very stupid, says Aristotle or Plato.
That is actually true to a degree. Most people are not really thinking. I think there was a recent stat that said that on the software engineering angle, people who just used AI tools to write a Python script or something have scored 17% lower on tests than people who did it themselves, right? So that's true.
Yeah, it can just be a shortcut, can't it? Cutting corners and not actually learning a lot. AI is stupid, says Samadhi. Interesting take.
When Skynet takes over the world, they're going to come and look for somebody.
Just as well. That's an anonymous handle.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. I think it's so much is gonna. It's happening so fast. This is the thing, isn't it?
It's fast indeed.
Yeah.
And on to the next section, guys. As we said, unfortunately, Lewis is not here today, but we've got someone joining us from another part of the world, from sunny South Africa. It is, of course, bringing it on Geordie from the trading.
Geordie advance when Geordie's in the mix.
What's up, guys? Looking at the fixed range volume profile on the daily time frame, we can very clearly see where the support and resistance major volume levels are at these high volume nodes around 68,900 and 66,300, as well as this high volume zone around the POC. And we can see prices currently sitting around the POC at present. We can also see where the major rejection came inside the value area high at this high volume zone that we were scoping for a major short move. Zooming in now to the 4-hour time frame, Market Cypher absolutely nailed this short entry signal. Please do watch the Market Cypher tutorials that I have put on the Coin Bureau trading channel, because it is worth it. Have a look at this beautiful red dot trigger wave with our 3 levels of confluence, the VWAP and the money flow pointing down, and an absolutely beautiful trade there that went down currently to a max profit of around 9.6%. So many take profits already taken, but actually I haven't closed my shorts yet. I opened shorts on altcoins once I saw this major bearish signal on Bitcoin. I have taken major profits on the shorts, but I won't close them until we enter the value area low to rinse and repeat in the range. Price is now stuck back within this high volume zone, and it's just a matter of waiting now to see if we do come back above this point of control to retest the 68.9 level and possibly come back up to the value area high, or if this really will be a rejection from the POC down to value area low where I'll be looking for my next longs. Currently now on the 4-hour time frame, this SMC bullish order block has given us a nice bounce, but I haven't entered my longs there as it's not within the value area low of the range. I will be looking further down towards these bullish order blocks on the 1-hour time frame to scope for my next long entry if price comes down into this value area low. So take note of these levels around 63,750 and 62,800, and make sure you do find confluence for these entries with other indicators. I will be using the market cipher divergence and trigger wave strategies to make sure that I do get the right signals at these levels before I enter the trades.
Great stuff. Well, thanks, Jordy, man. I love it. He breaks it down in a very technical way of breaking down his trading strategy into different time frames and everything, and the on-balance volume and stuff like that. So if you guys want to check out Jordy's videos, he's got all of them over there on the trading channel. He gives you some of these market cipher indicators as well that he uses. Go and check it out and subscribe to Coin Bureau Trading.
Absolutely. Great addition to the team there.
Yeah, we've got other traders there as well. Some guys going live. Someone went live. Matt went live just an hour or two ago. So go and check that out as well. He's our new joiner over there on the Coin Bureau Trading.
I see him referred to as Kanga Matt in the comments. Is that a comment on the fact that he's Australian?
Kanga Matt.
That must be it. Right. Right. Okay, that makes sense. Right. Just broke through 69K, someone says.
68,905. Close, guys. Close.
Happy days.
Close.
Happy days. All right. Shall we have a look at the tweets of the week?
Tweets of the week, guys.
Okay. This was shared on a group. Nic and myself and Dan, our head of research, are on a Slack group, and Dan shared this one, and we did have to have a little chuckle at it. There's
in case you guys don't notice, the guy who is the homeless guy out there in the window looking at you firing off the Patriot missiles is none other than Mr. Zelensky.
Yes,
Betrayed Mr. Zelensky.
I thought you said you didn't have any left. Okay, so that was we had that one. Next up, we have this from. Gosh, there's a lot going on here.
There's a lot going on, yes. So, just a bit of context. This was a guy. The news broke. I think it was about a month ago. Apparently, some U.S. government contractor's son had doxed himself accidentally. Well, intentionally. He basically shared. He was basically told in his group chat on his Discord with his buddies, they accused him of being poor, and he decided to show them. So he showed them his wallet balances. And little did he know that Zach XBT was watching. And Zach XBT was able to identify who it was. And he turns out he was the son of a U.S. government contractor who was entrusted with securing U.S. government assets. And about something of $20 to $40 million worth of Bitcoin was stolen by this kid. And anyways, long story short, they found him out there in the French island of Saint Martin, and they found him with all the cash and wallets and everything, and that is the perpetrator right there. To which I must say that the real crime should actually be that haircut and that chin.
I was going to say, like, what's that lid and beard combo, if you can even call it a beard, is absolutely criminal, isn't it?
It is indeed. And then, of course, there were also, because this was posted by the head of the FBI, there were a lot of references to a certain list of certain individuals who we shan't mention here.
Cash Patel is quite a lols individual, isn't he?
Oh, he's hilarious.
Yeah, all accounts a bit of a nutcase. Yes. Okay. So this is a crypto scam. I'm always like staggered by how these guys seem to have the ability to, steal large amounts of crypto, and then are so dumb that they allow themselves to be busted online, and to say nothing of their hairstyle.
To be honest, Brett, if you allow your barber to do that to you, you are pretty fucking dumb.
You deserve to do time, sir. Have a long, hard think about your appearance. Okay, next up we have this. This is from Rio. Rio deciding to crap on Berachain.
Yeah, so while you guys were busy discussing World War III, Berachain made $77 in chain revenue in the last 24 hours. Yeah, man. It's beating out some of the other L1s, though.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that Berachain actually on the sliding scale of it is probably doing quite well compared to a lot of them.
It's got revenue.
We should be celebrating Berachain's success
Yeah.
in this one. But yes, we're not so much picking on Berachain as picking on the whole crypto industry, really. So yeah, just to clarify. Okay, and we also have this one from Chamath.
Yeah, so basically, someone was accusing Chamath of making a lot of money while his investors lost millions out of his SPAC deals. He says bullshit, and then one guy responds, "It's not bullshit. I invested in all of them. Your pitches were compelling, and then I lost tons. You made tons, and why?" And then Chamath comes back and he says, "Then you generated capital losses. Did you lose those yet? Did you use those yet?" So basically his inference is, yeah, well, of course you lost money on my investments and my SPACs, but it would have given you capital losses. So you could have offset that for tax. It's weird shit, man.
Yeah, Chamath is one of the guys on the All In pod, isn't
Yeah,
he?
I mean,
That
ridiculous.
tells you everything you need to know, really, doesn't it? Okay, well, that was Chamath arguing with someone called the Dude, with a Jeffrey Lebowski profile pic as well. I respect the hell out of that. Okay, was that it for tweets of the week?
That was tweets for the week. So for dates for the diary, guys, got a few days to note. Firstly, tomorrow we've got the EIA short-term oil outlook report, so that's important. Wednesday, we've got the CPI numbers, big one. 2.4% is expected, the headline year on year, and 2.4% previous. Definitely need to watch those numbers because it will give us a guidance of what could be happening on the inflation side. Important, of course, for Fed policy decisions. We've also on Wednesday got the OPEC report, OPEC market report, very relevant, of course, in the current market environment. And then Friday, we've got, again, some more inflation numbers. This is the delayed PCE numbers, the Personal Consumption Expenditures Index. And the expected number is 2.9% headline, with 2.9% was the previous reading, and core at 3.1% expected versus 3% previous.
Okay, lots to look out for this week. All right, let's see what people are saying in the comments. This is an interesting one. JP saying social media has already made people stupid. AI is too late.
I guess no, because people would actively have to would want to engage with social media. It's like people can actively avoid it. They can just. I know people who decide I'm not going to get social media. I'm off social media, and that's a choice they make. But if your job relies on having to use AI tools, and you're no longer having to think about the intricacies of your work, then you're forced to become dumb to a degree.
Yeah.
I wonder, or forced not to think as much, right? You know, if you think about like a problem you solve in mathematics or computer science, you're not thinking that in depth as it is just, I'm going to give this prompt and I'm going to ask this AI to solve it for me.
Yeah. If AI can solve the problem of how to make social media go away,
that'd be
then
great.
that would be worth every penny.
If TikTok can go, I mean, if Skynet can come and eliminate TikTok, that would be great.
TikTok, Facebook, which we're currently broadcasting on.
Who uses Facebook though anymore? I mean,
Who even uses? In fact, I was.
how many people are
listening
watching on Facebook? Let's just check. How many people are on Facebook?
No people watching on Facebook. All right, Facebook goes. Destroy it. I was reading the book the Facebook whistleblower wrote about her time there. It's like that company is just the absolute pits, really is. Anyhow, AI. There was another one that I wanted to flag up. Whilst I look for it, Bandy Masher is asking Guy, new haircut or bike helmet hair? This is the thing. You've got to be very careful about criticizing someone else's lid, like we did on that guy, because it'll come right back at you. No, I am trying a new style. It's not bike helmet hair. I mean, thank you, Bandy. I appreciate that. I'll keep a lookout for your comments in the future. And I think lots of love for Geordie in the comments as well. And Schweb, our regular viewer, my uncle thinks someone's going to give him $1 million for his vibe-coded project. I think there's probably quite a few people like that out there.
Oh man, all these solo entrepreneurs who basically think they're going to get to 10 million ARR by just going and giving their AI just a few prompts. You know, make me money. Okay, cool. Sure. I think it's that easy. Okay.
Absolutely. All right. So I think that's about it for today,
That's
right,
it.
Nick?
Yeah, guys. Yeah.
We have got plenty more videos coming your way this week. We will have Lewis back at some point as well. I think if you watch the FUD and FOMO live stream, Lewis was basically streaming live from Miami Beach by the look of it.
Yeah,
so maybe he just overdid it on the pina coladas.
I think he did,
and hasn't been seen since.
Don't blame him.
But he will be back soon as well. Lots more videos to come across all our channels, so keep a lookout. We told you we'd be back next week. Here we are. And guess what? We'll be back same time, same place next week as well.
As always, man.
All right.
There we
Thanks
go,
for
guys.
watching.
Cheers.
Crazy, this channel has become my #1 news source. Matching t-shirts must be serious. Pair my coffee with a lovely 3-cheese grilled cheese. Here is Louis, harbinger of doom. Guy and Nic live from a mattress in an underground car park. Yo, I'm labor low for no valid reason, just vibes. When Lambo, when Ford Pinto. When Lambo, when Ford Pinto.
All right, Nick, do you have a question for the Lucky 8 Ball?
Only one question, Guy. When alt season?
And the Lucky 8 Ball says, don't hold your breath.
No, really?